Hello, my Leo friends. Let's talk about what 2026 has in store for you. And Leo, 2026 is not a year that you're casually walking through. This is a year that changes your trajectory. It's the kind of year where doors open, not because you asked politely, but because the universe decides you're ready to be seen differently. And the two forces shaping this entire year for you are Jupiter moving in your sign for the first time in 12 years and the eclipses that haven't happened in your sign for 10 years. And together they're expanding your identity, your visibility, and the way you step into leadership, purpose, and meaning. This isn't about ego, it's about embodiment. It's about standing in your power and you're ready. So the first half of 2026 may feel deceptively quiet. You might feel like you're waiting for clarity, waiting for momentum, waiting for something to finally click, right? Well, you're used to that. It's been happening like that for a while anyway. But here's what's really happening. You're shedding an old version of confidence that relied on validation from others, from applause from others, or from certainty. This phase of quiet is about internal authority. You're learning to trust yourself without external proof. You're realizing that being powerful doesn't mean being loud, it means being aligned. So, eclipses, that's where new beginnings come in. Old's got to go and new has to come in. And so, eclipses early in the year, the one that happens on February 17th, it really starts pulling your attention towards meaning, truth, and long term direction. Some beliefs you've carried for years may suddenly feel outdated. Paths that once excited you may completely lose their charge. And this isn't loss, this is refinement. You're ready to step into the new. And so let's talk a little bit more about Jupiter entering Leo. This is the big turning point. This is the one that changes everything. So when Jupiter, the planet of luck and opportunity and expansion, when it enters Leo mid-year, so that's June 30th, your life expands rapidly. You've been waiting for this planet to grow and to change you. Jupiter is the planet of luck, and it's the planet of opportunities that pop up out of nowhere because we just believed in ourselves and we believed in the universe. And this is where, when Jupiter starts coming through, confidence returns. But this time, it's different. It's rooted and it's not performative. You feel seen again. You feel motivated again. You feel hungry for growth again. Opportunities arrive through leadership roles. So you may be finding that being a leader of your own life, creative projects, visibility, travel, teaching. People notice you even when you're not trying. Your light is shining, but Jupiter's gift always comes with responsibility too. So you're asked to step into a bigger version of yourself, not the one that seeks approval, but the one that knows why you're here, right? This is a 12-year personal cycle beginning. The choices you make now echo so far into your future, and it brings luck and it brings opportunities. Now, the eclipses that couple with that, this is huge. The eclipses in 2026 and then moving into 27 act like cosmic course corrections. Some doors close suddenly, but only because they were leading you somewhere small. You stayed small, you kept your light small, but some plans dissolve only because they were built on outdated dreams of yours or other people's. But you may feel moments of uncertainty around direction, purpose, or faith, especially around mid-year, right? And then that's not failure, that's destiny asking for recalibration. And then that's where Jupiter comes in, right? So if something ends abruptly, just trust it. If something begins unexpectedly, follow it. Eclipses, they don't really explain themselves. They reveal themselves. And they reveal themselves a couple weeks beforehand and then a couple of weeks after that. So we have those eclipses. Of course, obviously, we have the uh, uh, on August 12th and then on February 1st. So those are going to be the eclipses that we have this year that are dealing with that Leo Aquarius cusp that's so important for you. Now, so by the final months of 2026, you're just not really trying to prove yourself anymore, right? You're choosing experiences that feel meaningful. You're saying no without guilt. You're embodying leadership rather than chasing it. This year teaches you that your power isn't how bright you shine, it's in why you shine. Now, the other thing too that happens with this is that this is all touching everything that's in your life, right? This is this is about finding your sovereignty again. This is about finding who you are. This is about being proud of who you are and no longer allowing your light to be dimmed. That's the thing with Leo, right? There's a lot of need to in a way to make others feel comfortable, to dim your own light, to dim your own gifts. And when you do that, little bits of your light begin to die. And this is a year where they finally really begin to shine. Now let's talk about money this year. Now, your eighth house of other people's money is very, very active this year. So you're going to be focusing on long-term financial planning, debt reduction, investment opportunities. This is definitely a good time for doing that, especially during those Mercury retrogrades between February 26th and March 21st. It might show you that there are some options that are out there that might be a little bit different than what you're used to. You know, the world is going through a bit of a recalibration now, and our financial systems are now that Uranus is leaving the sign of the economy and money and finances, Uranus, and it's transforming it completely. So there's a lot of opportunities that are coming this year to really be able to invest in new types of markets, crypto, things like that, that will really help to build your long-term wealth and your partners as well, because this is definitely a year where that sector is being lit up as well too. Um, so absolutely. One great thing is that full moon on March 3rd will really help with getting some clarity on financial strategies moving forward. Let's see. What else do I want to look at here? Just most of it is just, I think, let's look at love and relationships, right? Everybody wants to know about those. So, of course, we have those eclipses that are going to be happening in that seventh house as well, too. So there's a lot of old, outdated belief systems, old traumas, old things that have built up in that seventh house over the past 10 years, and they're ready to be released. We have that south node going through your sign this year that's dumping all that karmic baggage to begin with. But then over here on the other side, we have that north node. South node is what we're getting away from. North node is our soul's purpose and the direction we're moving to now. And so to have that moving through that seventh house like it is, um, it's really marking a new 18-month relationship cycle. It's moving you forward. It's helping you to find greater direction. This is a time, also when the fast moving planets are going through there, and it's a great time for connection, honest conversations. Um, if there need to be changes that have to be met or made, we have Mars going through through that area again where it hasn't been for a couple of years. If there were things that you wanted to get started in that relationship a couple of years ago, changes you wanted to make in the relationship, and they just never got going, Mars coming back in this time frame and towards the end of February, it gives you that opportunity to really get those engines running again. Or if you're looking for somebody, having Mars moving through that seventh house, that gives you confidence and courage like you haven't had for a couple of years to really get yourself out there and yet again, let your light shine. So, uh, yeah, definitely. Fifth house of children's a little bit quieter than usual. We have Sun, Mercury, like usual, those fast moving planets going through there at the end of the year, November into December. Um, so I think just in general, though, when it comes to children, having Jupiter moving into your sign, Leo deals with children. It deals with the child within as well too. So as you grow, your children are also going to be growing and expanding in new ways, stepping into new levels in their own lives as well. So that just reminds you that you know, there may be less responsibility with children, so it frees up more time for you to explore what lights you up and makes you happy so you can prioritize your happiness as well. Now, um, when it comes to, I think, just expansion, travel, growth in general, one of the big things that's happening for you is Neptune and uh, Saturn finally leaving that eighth house of debt. So we've got that house of restriction, or that planet of restriction finally leaving those debts. You're finally able to really start focusing on breaking those debts down and getting out of there. And the confusion around debts and taking on other people's money and other people's debts, as Neptune has gone through there over the past, since 2011. Now it's moving into your ninth house, and that's the house of travel and expansion and learning and teaching. And it's a wonderful 14-year cycle that calls you to align with your soul's purpose. Saturn moving into Aries in February on Valentine's Day, actually, it asks for a little bit of structure and discipline and effort to manifest your dreams that Neptune is bringing. That ninth house is also an area of dreaming and expanding ourselves. So this is definitely something where maybe you do want to do something different, or you want to teach, or you want to take on a new job. With all of this activation in the ninth house, you might be finding that you want to take some new classes, you want to take some seminars, you want to learn some things. There's a lot that would be triggering that. Now, another area that's really getting a bit of a shakeup is your 11th house of friends, communities, the groups that you surround yourself with. Now, Uranus is moving into this house. Uranus has spent the past 8 years moving through your career house, the 10th house of soul's purpose. It's brought you opportunities, and as it leaves, it may be bringing you some new opportunities that are more fitting for who you are now, really shaking things up in terms of career. Keep that in mind as well too. But now Uranus, that planet of shakeups and unexpected thing and unexpected energy, it's moving into your house of friends and the groups that you surround yourself with. So expect some sudden changes in your social circles. Maybe finding yourself with new friends. Release those old friends that aren't reflecting your growth. Maybe they're stuck in the past. They represent a version of who you used to be, but they don't radiate who you are now. July and November are definitely key months for meeting people who can open doors in life, career, travel, adventure. There's a lot that comes with that. So now we talked about the moons that are going to be happening for you when you want to manifest things. You're going to be doing that at that um, August 12th moon. Want to release things, we're doing that at the full moon in February. Now let's kind of look at birthdays. Now keep in mind, I really almost want to say that these things are going to be happening for all Leos, but this is kind of specific with where planets would line up with where your sun degree is at. If you want to know how this year is actually activating your specific birth chart and how it looks for you, follow my link below and then you can get set up with me for a reading. And then I'll have it at the end of this as well too, how to, reach out for a reading. But in terms of birthdays, if it falls between July 25th and 29th, Pluto out there is going to be opposing your sun. Now, this is happening for all Leos anyway. having the planet of absolute transformation opposing your sun, opposing your sign. It's it's transforming you from the inside out. So personal growth, shedding old identities, that is definitely paramount. So there's a lot of letting go that has to be done, um, on an internal level and external. So if your birthday falls between July 23rd and August 8th, Saturn out there is making a really positive connection with your sun. Now that means responsibility, and maturity might be called on for you. Maybe more responsibilities are getting put on you. This is definitely a year where you want to make some good concrete forward thinking plans for how you want to get things moving with whatever it is you're working on in life. But Saturn wants a plan. So the more that you can plan for the future, the more it'll make sure you got a solid ground under your feet to build on. July 23rd to August 21st. So basically, everybody in Leo, Jupiter is going through and aligning with your sun over the course of this year. A year to go all in on your personal dreams. I tell you what, the more that you believe in yourself, Jupiter will pay you a million times in blessings. Know that you can do it. Know that you have the skills. Know that you have the ability. And I think you're going to surprise yourself with what you can do. So, pretty much that's everything for that, Leo, right? If you want to, like I said, you know, here, be sure to watch your moon and your rising signs as well too. That's going to give you a little bit more of a picture as well too on how things look for you. If you're looking into getting into astrology and want to learn more, in my link below there, you can go and find my book. It's like a 2026 workbook that has an astrology 101 at the beginning of it, how it applies to your birth chart, how to figure these things out in your birth chart. And then it goes month by month and it talks about each of the moon cycles and has journal prompts, helps you really work through each of these really pivotal months that are happening this year for you, and seeing how astrology is such a major part and how you play such a huge role in the cosmic blueprint of your life. Um, yeah, okay. So Leos, definitely remember 26 is your year. It's your year to shine, it's your year to grow and to embrace your personal power. So adventure and self-discovery await. Make the most of every opportunity. We'll see you next time. Bye.